What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another transfer episode. We're going to be looking at targets for the striker position. This is on, well, I don't even want to say it, but on the kind of event that Harry Kane does leave the club this summer. We're going to have to look at transfer options for a striker who can replace Harry Kane. I mean, no one can replace Harry Kane, but we're going to have a look at someone who can sort of fill some sort of the void that Harry Kane has left the club. We've picked out 5 viable options for the striking position, 5 realistic targets. So let's get into the first one. And the first one we're going to be looking at is Andrealotti of Torino. We've given him a market value around 20 million. He was one that was linked with us. Was it January?
No, it was last
season.
summer. We went for loan, didn't we?
Right,
we bid for a bit of loan for him, but they didn't obviously. Clearly, we're never going to go for that. But he's one in terms of like all-round game. He's big, he's strong, he's a great finisher, he's a good passer, he's got pace as well. Not like mad pace, but he's got decent pace as well. Good age, 26 years old. He's always stood out in a very struggling Torino side who nearly got relegated from Serie A last the season just been. And he got 13 goals for them. I think he's got over 20 goals season before that. So he's one where I think I would definitely. I don't think he's a world-class striker, and you preferably want him and another one who's a similar level to him. But he's definitely one who can lead a line for us, and he's got very good leadership skills in terms of he's always been the leader for that Torino team. He's like the Harry Kane of Torino, basically. That's what he is. Yeah. Obviously, to not that extent, but very good in the air as well, good heading ability. So he's kind of a player he's kind of a complete forward in that sense. Obviously, Kane is like another level of completeness to Belotti, but he's kind of
no one as complete as Harry Kane.
He's probably a couple rungs below Kane, but in that sense, but he's still a very, very good striker, and we shouldn't sniff at the opportunity if he was available.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
mean, when we were last linked with him, I was one getting really excited because out of all the strikers we were linked with at that time, he's the one that stood out for me as probably the best option. Mm-hmm. He's one that has consistently scored goals for Torino, just year after year, banging in the goals. Yes, this year was actually a bit less than usual, but that's because Torino was especially struggling as opposed to previous years before that. But look, Belotti is one that I would welcome with open arms. I think he's a top quality striker, but it just remains to be seen because I'm always apprehensive signing strikers and wingers from leagues abroad.
Yeah, but at least he's at his peak age now, so I think he probably deserves the opportunity to prove himself for a better club, and I think I would definitely, I would preferably want him and another one though, but I wouldn't want him to replace Harry Kane in that sense. But I definitely wouldn't just gloss over the chance of signing him. In my opinion.
All right, let's move on to the next one, and that is Ciro Immobile of Lazio. I mean, you talk about scoring goals year in, year out. Since he's joined Lazio, he's been a monstrous goal scorer.
Oh, yeah.
He really has. We've put a 30 million market value on him. The issue for me is his age.
Yeah, that's the problem. He could be on the decline. He's 31 now. To spend big money on a 31-year-old is very risky business, and is only really for short-term gain. Although you've seen strikers like Lewandowski and other players go into their 30s and pretty much get better with age, as it seems. And to be fair, Immobile does seem to be going that way. So it's not exactly that he looks like he's declining. It's just that it's a big, big risk when you're spending big money on a 31-year-old. And but he's a fantastic player. Amazing finishing ability. Probably the best finisher on this list, in my opinion, that we got. He's absolutely brilliant in that respect. Good. He's also, despite being 31, he's also quite fast, and which is also one of his main attributes. He's a very good poacher as well. So he's another one I would seriously consider, but his age might just rule him out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't see.
Feels like 3 years younger would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see Levy going out and spending that much money on him. Just because of his age.
Yeah, but he's still, and also one blot against him is he failed quite badly at Dortmund and Sevilla. The 2 opportunities he got to play outside of Italy, he did kind of fall flat badly, so that's a blot against him. But he's been so consistent for Lazio now for so many years that it would be stupid to think that he couldn't come in and do a good job.
All right, let's move on. The next one we're going to be looking at is PSG's Mauro Icardi. We've put a value on him for around 40 million. Can't really get in this PSG side though, can he?
No. Another one who's a brilliant finisher. He's a one who doesn't have as much all-round to his all-round game as the other two we've been talking about. Another one who thrived in Italy, though, was brilliant for Inter Milan for a number of years, consistently their top goal scorer. But hasn't really worked out at PSG. He scored 9 goals this season, but whenever I remember seeing him in the Champions League semi-final, he was absolutely woeful on that day, and that's probably, in the biggest games a lot of the time he can be found wanting, and he's much more of a bit of a player who plays in the width of the 18-yard box than some of the other players that we've got on this list. So one who is a very good striker, but for that kind of money, for the money that they're probably going to asking for him. I don't know if he's what we need, what we want.
I like him as a player. He hasn't really got to grips with it at PSG yet, but when he was at Inter Milan, obviously he was their captain, he was their talisman, and he scored a lot of goals over there. I mean, he scored 111 goals in Serie A for Inter Milan. So I think the only reason he left at the end was because he fell out with the Ultras. Something happened with the Ultras and they kind of kicked him out of the club or something.
And there's a reason PSG signed him, because he was a very, very good player, and he's a quality player, Icardi. But is it one where we would get frustrated with him? I feel potentially if we signed him. That's how I feel with him at the moment.
Could be. But yeah, that is one of the options for sure. But the next one we're going to be looking at is Dominic Calvert-Lewin of Everton. Look, everyone knows what Calvert-Lewin's about. Last couple of years, he's had 2 good seasons. He's really kind of established himself as like a proper Premier League striker now. And yeah, I think he's a really good and viable option.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably going to be paying a Premier League tax for him
in terms of tax as well.
Exactly. So he'll prove very, very costly if we were to bring him in. It will definitely be upwards of 60, 70 million because of the season he's had. But he's another one who I feel like he's got a very similar mentality to Kane, where he's always looking to improve himself. He's always looking to see what he can work on, and he's got no one better than Harry Kane in the English national team to learn from and look at if he does end up replacing him one day. I think actually in terms of in the air and things like that, he might even be superior to Kane, but I don't think he's anywhere near Kane in terms of his ability to play passes, his ability to hold the ball up. I think he's physically quite good and he's quite strong and he can out-muscle defenders, but in terms of like playing with his back to goal, bringing other people into the game, when Kane takes a touch and sprays a pass across the pitch, that's not really his forte. He's a bit similar to Icardi. He's much more comfortable inside the penalty area, but he's one where he will definitely look to improve himself for sure. And given that he's young, 23 years old, 24, he will definitely improve that aspect of his game. And there's no reason why he can't get that to a competent level. And he's one of, if we can get him, there's not too many better replacements we can probably get for Kane.
All right. And the last one we're going to be talking about is Danny Ings. I said halfway through the season, if we sell Harry Kane, I know we're just going to bring in Danny Ings. And that sounds like the most kind of Daniel Levy thing to do. 25 million market value we put on him. He's leaving Southampton, or he's potentially leaving Southampton this summer. He's been linked with Man City. But obviously now Kane's up for sale. Kane's been heavily linked with Man City, seeing as Kane's been kind of twerking himself for Man City. But in terms of Danny Ings, I think that if we're playing the pressing game, he'd be a very good striker to have.
And exactly, he'd done that at Southampton. The bad things about Danny Ings, his previous injury record counts against him. His age, he's 28, which is not old, but with what the skill set Danny Ings relies on, which is his sharpness, his pace, he's a bit like Jermaine Defoe. Danny Ings, he reminds me a bit like Jermaine Defoe.
Vardy.
No, not Jamie Vardy, more like Jermaine Defoe. That's why, because he relies on that explosiveness in and around the 18-yard box. Like he can easily get the ball on the edge of the box and just shift and shoot like very well into the corner and stuff like that. But the plots against him are those kind of things. But in his favour, last season had an amazing season with Southampton, 23 goals. The season after that, which season just been a bit down, but still 12 league goals, which is decent. He did again, more injury problems held him back. But he's definitely one who, if we can get him on the pitch for the majority of the season, I'm sure he can easily get us 20 goals. But and he's definitely a threat in behind. He's definitely got pace with him, and he's also technically quite a strong finisher and good player. So I like Danny Ings quite a lot, but whether he could play that role, because he's been playing in a 2 with Shea Adams, so whether he can play the role up front by himself that Kane is so used to, is a question mark on that. but I think he's such a good finisher. He'd be good to have around.
Yeah, I agree. I think his mentality is top notch as well. So Danny Ings would definitely be a viable option for me. But let me know in the comment section below, would you take any of these strikers? Or are there any other strikers who we haven't spoken about who would be viable options for you? One that sticks to my mind is Ollie Watkins. I know he kind of only joined Aston Villa last summer, but we were linked with him and we could have put in a bid for him and we could have got him. But we decided against it because of the price. But he signed for Villa for what, 40 million or something like that?
30 million, yeah.
Yeah, 30 million. So if we were to prize him away from Aston Villa, we're probably looking at 50 to 60 million.
Yeah.
Especially with the season he's had as well. So look, that could be just a bit out of our price range. But if we sell Kane for 100, 150 million, then who knows? We could be spending that sort of money on a striker.
Yeah,
or we probably should be.
Definitely should be, yeah.
Yeah. But look, those are the options. The strikers we spoke about today were Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Danny Ings, Andrea Belotti, Ciro Immobile, and Mauro Icardi. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below which one is the most likely one for you. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.